Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at Musings and Meditations with the Happiness Collective with Sharad Jagtiani and myself, Garima. Every week, Sharad and I get together and we chat
Good
on
evening, everyone.
the
Thank you so much
pandemic,
for joining us
at Musings and Meditations with the Happiness. The pandemic, happiness, emotions, meditations. I am part of the Happiness Collective, which is a community of citizens who have come together at a time of crisis to share empathy, kindness, and gratitude, and improve their emotional and mental wellness. With our social media channels and calendar of events, we provide curated digital content and programming like talks, performances, and workshops. We also engage our members with professional mental health and wellness resources and experts. You can follow us on our social media and keep up with our events with the link in the YouTube description. Today, we are joined by Sharad Jagtiani, like every week, who is a Bollywood actor, singer, and practitioner of various healing modalities. He is an Access Bars practitioner, has learned emotional freedom technique, self-hypnosis, and is also a life coach. You can check out his music, motivational videos, and comedy on his YouTube channel called Sharad's World. The link is also in the description. So thank you so much for joining us today, Sharad, on this lovely Sunday evening. Sharad and I were just chatting about... We were just chatting about how chai is our favorite drink and we both have our drinks of chai.
Just finished my chai and there was just 10
today,
minutes. So
Sharad and I are going to be... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying that I had just 10 minutes to prepare, 5 minutes to prepare the chai. So it's not as good as I generally make it, but it's not bad at all. Yeah.
I'm glad. Same here. I also made it last minute. So, but it's not bad. It's a nice drink to have as we chat together. So today, Sharad and I are going to be talking about negative emotions and happiness. And this really came up because I was reading an article recently that says, and I quote, "One of the misconceptions about happiness is that happiness is being cheerful, joyous, and content all the time, always having a smile on your face. It is not. Being happy and leading rich lives is about taking the good with the bad and learning how to reframe the bad." So, I brought it up with Sharad, and Sharad and I got to talking, and we decided that this is a very about emotions, because a lot of us are in isolation. We're not able to see our friends and family. We are in grief because I think at this point, everyone personally knows someone who's been directly affected by COVID. We're all working from home. We're not able to see our friends and family. So of suppress these negative emotions, Sharad and I decided that it's actually very important to be talking about these and how learning to deal with them and to reframe them is an important part of the pursuit of happiness. And today we're also going to be chatting about how we've been navigating negative emotions this week. So since Sharad is a life coach, I'll start off by asking Sharad some questions. So Sharad, what are some examples of negative emotions, and which one have you seen the pandemic has particularly increased?
So, I'll talk personally. I used to feel a lot of anger. Okay. So I kind of identify with, whenever I see a situation, I kind of used to get more angry. Now I don't get so angry. Okay. I would be like, why can't this be done? Why can't that be done? Why can't people be more conscious? Why can't the government do this? Why can't the common citizen do this? So anger would be the predominant emotion that I would feel in every situation. And now, like you said, it's very important to acknowledge the emotion, because what we do is we go into the wrongness of that emotion. Okay. In our quest for happiness, we don't want to acknowledge the so-called negative emotion. Okay. And that cannot work. So one has to acknowledge it, understand where it's coming from, and then work. Like if it's something deeper issue or something like, then you have to work with a therapist. But if it's something that okay, what can I do with this emotion? You have to kind of talk to yourself about it, or talk to a friend who can help you, not just anybody, but talk to someone who understands. Or sometimes you want to just vent it out, and then you know what to do with it. Okay. So for example, if I can always tweet anybody today, right? I can tweet what my thoughts are to anybody. Now, whether they listen or not is a different thing. So today I was thinking of tweeting to like the people in the government and the state government and say that why don't like the entertainment professionals, why don't they look at vaccinating them right away, and then even the second dose can be given within 6 weeks. I mean, after 6 weeks, like a little faster, like earlier they were doing, so that they can start working. Now I can be angry about this also, but at the same time, that's not going to do anything to me. I can just use that anger, work on it, and then use my point of view to kind of create a positive change. So that's what I thought. So what
Definitely.
emotion have you what have you been going through, and how did you kind of work on that?
Yeah, definitely. I think, much like the entertainment industry right now, a lot of us find ourselves in a position where we have to work from home. And being able to go into office and interact with your colleagues was a big part of our lives. That's where we made friends. And it was much easier to do teamwork when you could just walk into someone's like room in the office and bounce some ideas off with them. Now everything is on WhatsApp, everything is on laptop. So, as a young person who's just started working, I'm definitely struggling with that. And sometimes what happens is that I forget to tell somebody that this particular assignment has been finished on a project, and like miscommunication happens because everyone is in different cities. So I frankly been feeling a lot of self-doubt this week, and it's not a very nice emotion to feel, because you have to do all of this work, but you're also questioning all the time, like, oh, like, am I good enough for this? Can I do this? Am I taking on too much? But as you said, I think talking to friends is really, really important. I called up my best friend who lives in Delhi, and I talked to her about these feelings and emotions, and realized that she was pretty much going through the same thing, because she's also in my bucket. She works for a research organization. She's also working from home. So I think at least I found this with myself, like when I am feeling a very intense negative emotion, like self-doubt, I forget that I'm not the only one feeling this, and a friend is just a phone call away, and I can just like call them up and talk to them. And it does make it better, because your friend, they are kinder to you. They will pump you up. They will tell you that, no, look, these are all the reasons why you are actually good enough for this job, and I can do the same for her. So I think reaching out to the people that you love can be very, very helpful, and I've seen that work for myself and work for everyone around me. Do you find that as well? Do you find the support of your friends and family is helpful?
Yeah, so absolutely. So, but it's very helpful. But one should know what that relationship is all about, because one of the biggest problems happens when you take the advice from the wrong person. Like for example, if I'm going through anger and I talk to someone who's very angry also, and then he or she just says, "Ki chalo video bana ke dal de tu Facebook pe," can happen. May not be the best idea for me. It may not be a bad idea for someone else. So it's important to kind of acknowledge that feeling, work with it, and then kind of talk to someone who can give you the best advice possible. It's not that we'll get the best advice of the world, but it's the best advice possible in whatever our surroundings, our environment, whatever we can find the best advice. So, but talking to a friend, of course, what I generally do is I have some friends I want to probably just sometimes just laugh with, and we that itself, many times we are just like not doing that enough. I think we should just pick up the phone and just call up someone you can laugh with, even if you're gossiping or whatever.
Definitely.
It's okay. It's okay, because as long as it's not very harmful, like it's not like some you're wishing someone bad, but it's just some harmless something. Did you see this? Did you see that? Or laughing. It's okay, because one needs to laugh.
Definitely. No, and it is
I'm not saying
scientifically, like, there is scientific evidence for how important.
gossip. I want to clarify. But you know how sometimes you have this thing, and sometimes you gossip about yourself only. You say, like, I was wearing this thing, and then, this happened. And so, very harmless things that you can laugh, which your friends also laugh about. Even if you're gossiping about them, it's something that they would also laugh about, because it's so harmless, that kind of stuff.
Definitely. No, my friend and I, when I was telling her I sent this very important email, and I made like 3 typos in the email. And, we started laughing together because we both went to liberal arts colleges. We both took our education very seriously. And, we like think of ourselves as people who are, good writers. And then she's like, Garima, you can't even write like a proper email in your first job, But yeah, no, I think laughter is essential. And there's scientific evidence for it also. In one of the first talks that we organized at the Happiness Collective, we had Dr. Sujata Kelkar Shetty talk to us about the wellness of the mind, body, and spirit. And in that, she spoke how laughter is essential to well-being. And I think laughter can also be really helpful for these very strong, heavy, negative emotions. Like we're so serious all the time, we forget that we still have the liberty to just call up our friends and laugh with them.
In fact, I started making these reels on Instagram, and sometimes I come across these very funny reels. Like as in, you have to lip sync, and also people are not doing that lip sync properly. They're doing it, and it's not, so it's not like I said, I had earlier spoke about gossip. I want to clarify this because it's not a good thing to do in that sense about human beings and their personalities and their character. But something like, say, somebody made a very ridiculous reel. Sometimes I make something really ridiculous, and somebody just calls and say, "What were you thinking? Like what are you doing?" And sometimes I forward this to what I do is I tell my friends that I'm forwarding them my reel, and I send them something really ridiculous that I've seen on one of the reels. So when they open it, they think it's mine, and they're like, "What are you sending us? What is this?" So as harmless as that. And in fact, some of those people also message me on Instagram and they're like, "How is it?" And I generally give them constructive feedback. So it's not like I'm going to say, "Oh, that's so ridiculous," but not tell the person about it. But when you tell the person, you have to tell them in a kind way that, okay, you need to lip sync a little better because your voice was going somewhere and your lips were going somewhere. So, try to. So then they also laugh at it because it is funny. It's like a quirk or a mistake that someone makes, which is not so serious. Definitely. Because otherwise people can get into the unkind zone when you're saying gossiping or talking about someone. They get into. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you can just laugh at something like a slapstick thing, when someone just kind of stumbled and they also laughed and you also laughed. So that kind of stuff.
Definitely. I think your true friends are the ones who make the most fun of you, right? And because there is that friendship, you don't take each other's criticism very seriously, even though you are completely right. I think this time more than anything else just calls for a lot of kindness with each other.
And also, I was just thinking that, sometimes we don't laugh because we take ourselves too seriously. Like, okay, I'm an actor and a singer, but it's not like I can't sing badly, or it's not like I can't do a really bad job in my acting, and it's not like people can't make fun of me later. It's okay. I'll say, yeah, cool. I mean, it wasn't that great, but I can do better, right? So I don't need to take myself so seriously. Like the biggest problem with everybody nowadays is, and that's the reason why so much of anxiety also happens and so much of stress happens sometimes, is that you take yourself too seriously and you put yourself in a box and you're not able to get out, like how we are in boxes right now, but these are boxes which are required. But I'm talking boxes that I'm an actor, it's okay. Now I'm not an actor. I'm not an actor right now. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm just a life coach who's learned something in the past 1 year and I'm wanting to share it with you and with people who are watching. So, and later on, if someone says, hey, your advice was okay, I'm not so great. I'm like, cool. Like, I learn more. So again, to take yourself so seriously in life as a professional or in your different roles as a son, as a partner, as a mother, is a lot of pressure.
Exactly. I think it's the pressure. I think it's the pressure that we place on ourselves and that the pressure that we've grown up with, Like, I think when I was in college, your first job was supposed to be a big deal, Your first job is your first job. It will set you up for the rest of your life, the rest of your career. And so, I write one bad email and I'm crying to my best friend that I can't do this, And in retrospect, it's like, it's one bad email. You're doing well, like, given the pandemic and given that you are putting in the hard work. And everyone makes mistakes, right? So I think do you see that very often when you speak to people, that they put a lot of pressure on themselves?
Garima, I had a very weird incident I wanted to share with you recently. A friend from a school group I just joked with him about something. Somebody said sent a very tough quiz, So I just shared that these three people would have got it right. I didn't even put my name in it. Even though I was a very intelligent kid and all, I used to always come in the top 5 and all, but I didn't put my name. I just said, these three would have got it right. So he actually sent me a message saying that that was very sadistic of you. So obviously, for him, that incident was a very important. Maybe he couldn't come third or fourth or fifth, and then that remained in his something that made him unhappy. So it triggered him in that sense. So I think again, like imagine getting stuck for some fourth standard or fifth standard that ranking that. So imagine what all people are stuck with, and that made me realize that I just looked at that incident and I said, hey, maybe if I am stuck somewhere, that the number of views I'm getting on my reels or the number of people watching this show later and all, I don't want to be stuck in that. I'm freeing myself of all this, all these, the number game actually. So I'm free now.
That's incredible. I think because social media, it's such a present part of our lives. Everybody's on it, everybody's using it. We work on it. Like you can't start a company without having a social media presence. Or maybe you can. I just don't. I don't know.
I'm saying feedback is very important, but to take that, to take yourself so seriously. Like, of course, when you're doing a job, you're taking it. I can't be running around the room right now because you won't be able to see me. I have to sit here and talk to you. But the thing is now, again, after the session, say if I get some good feedback and then I say, hey, like I'm so great and all. Or somebody calls and says, hey, what were you talking? And I'll say, oh my God, I'm so bad. So I can take that feedback and say, hey, is it kind of, can I use this? Is it relevant? Is it coming from a good space? Is it coming? Sometimes people just give you feedback just because they don't like you, or sometimes they'll give you some feedback because they're actually jealous, Or so you got to understand what feedback to take and not to take. And that comes from a space where you don't take yourself so seriously. You don't define yourself and you don't say that, this is who I am and this is how. But say, okay, hey, I'm good at this. I'm a decent singer and I'm a decent life coach. I can always improve, and let's see if this feedback is coming from the right space. So let me take it.
Right. I just thought of something as you were talking about taking ourselves too seriously. I was also telling my therapist or my counselor who I work with, and I tell her this all the time. Damini, her name is Damini Grover. She's an excellent therapist. She's based out of Delhi. And, I tell her, Damini, I'm just taking myself too seriously. I get so affected by what my mother says or what my father says or when my friend doesn't call me. And, she said to me, Garima, it's not that you're taking yourself seriously. You're taking everyone else more seriously than you're taking yourself because you're not prioritizing what you need, And that's exactly what you do when you decide what criticism to take and what criticism to not. You take what you think is relevant for yourself. It's because you do actually take yourself seriously, but not in a bad way. So just something I thought of.
I criticize myself quite a bit, not from a space of having a low self-esteem. But I do say that, hey, if I say right now my hair is not looking that great, I'll be like, yeah, I could have just, next time I'll just comb it a little or use a product or something. So I am looking at myself in outside view also. But I'm not looking at myself like in a kind of putting myself down, but I say, hey, I can improve in this. So that's a good space. And, so we anyway have so much anxiety and stress. So the last thing we should do is put more anxiety and stress on account of our other people's opinions about us, So because anyway, today we're stuck, right? We are all in quarantine. I mean, not quarantine, lockdown, and some people are quarantined. And some, so there's so much happening. So why should we put extra stress on ourselves on account of things that are so superficial or so shallow, or somebody else's point of view about the way you should lead your life? I'm sorry, I will not take input at all,
Yeah.
And things like marriage and kids and this and what kind of job you should do and all, everybody's input is welcome. But eventually, this is my life. and I'll do what makes me happy. Okay, so
Definitely.
I'm not going to take somebody's advice about how I should live my life. This
Definitely. I think
pandemic,
that's so important.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you.
No. I said this pandemic has, if taught me anything, it's that, I think we should now look at what we really want to do in life.
Yeah. I think the pandemic has put a lot of things into perspective, because otherwise we would be just running around in our jobs and our normal daily routines and lives. I would probably be somewhere in some city, like doing some other job, but I'm at home right now with my parents. And it's been so lovely because we've been able to like really learn how to live together. And I think a lot of young people are like trying to navigate that. How do we live with our parents
And
at a time?
yeah. Sorry, please
Go
go
ahead.
on.
No,
So,
just that.
yeah, so I was just thinking that, okay, we can't go out, but we can really spend time with ourselves and figure ourselves out. Because, I think people get frustrated. I was a little upset with this second wave and the lockdown and all, because I was planning to release a song. And I composed it, I wrote the lyrics, and I was like, oh my God, this song is going to be a rage and all. And I was thinking of imagining myself on all these, shows and interacting with people, and I had a complete visual happening. So a few days, 2-3 days, I saw myself, I was like really not myself. I was upset, and I acknowledged it. I said, yeah, I mean, this sucks. But then I said, okay, 2 days actually, I think. And I was like, 2 days are enough. Okay, now, so what is happening now? Can I not have fun if I don't go on stage? Because that's a role I've again defined for myself, that I can only have fun when I go on stage. It is a lot of fun though.
It is. I miss being on stage. I miss being able to do theater on a stage.
Yeah, but the thing is, so it's again acknowledging the emotion and then reasoning it with yourself logically. Okay, there's an emotion that comes to us that I have fear. Now, I can use that fear to also, have some caution, right? But I can't just have fear that, hey, something will happen. No, that is panic. So I have to again logically do it. Hey, is this fear justified? Yes, this can happen. Right? So it helps you to prepare. But if you just keep being in that state, then it's no good, right? So we have to use
Definitely.
so-called negative emotions logically kind of talk to ourselves or with somebody else, and then have a plan, have an action plan, and the ones which are not kind of justified, we got to drop them. Those fears or whatever, the anger. If it's not justified, then I have to drop it. But if I can do something with it, then I can sit, like kind of tweet. I can call up someone, talk to them. In today's day and age, we can just communicate with anybody.
But Sharad, like a lot of these feelings, they're so overwhelming. When you're angry, like the last thing you want to do is like think clearly and logically and, like proceed in a calm way. Even if you want to do it, it can be so hard. Like when I was sad this week because, I was wondering if I will ever be good enough for this job. I just sat and I cried and I called my friend. I couldn't think logically about it, but it's so important to think logically about it. So, what is that careful balance between not suppressing how you feel because these feelings are very real, but also at some point realizing look, you have to deal with them in like a logical way because otherwise these feelings will just consume you.
So it depends on what is happening. So sometimes there are patterns in your life, right? Like, so I would get into a lot of conflict on WhatsApp with people. Now, that was coming from a space of me wanting to prove that I am right. Okay. So now that pattern I had to break. So if I'm getting overwhelmed because I'm fighting on WhatsApp, it's actually I'm creating it. Okay. But if certain situations come into my life, like I'm stuck in the house, I'm a very kind of outgoing person, I'm stuck in the house, that can be overwhelming. So there I can talk to. So it depends on what, if you're creating that situation or the situation is kind of created for you. Now, if you're creating, you kind of need to work with someone to understand. Okay, so it may not be it's not an overnight thing to change your triggers and your patterns, right? But then you start working with them, and then you kind of keep away from those triggers for some time. Like, say, don't go on the group on a WhatsApp group if you feel that you're continuously arguing on it. And then in the meanwhile, you have to work on those triggers. Otherwise, what happens is you can talk to a friend, feel better, then again go back to that same thing, then again create that situation, right? So that is one needs to understand that, get the trigger out of your life, like kind of reduce it, work on yourself, and then go back into that environment, if at all.
No, definitely. I think the point about patterns is very important. We deal with that situation in the moment, but a lot of the situations we struggle with are actually things that we keep doing over and over again, and that's why self-reflection is so important. So you can actually take a step back from yourself and realize why am I continuously falling into anger again? For me, it's trying to figure out why am I continuously falling into self-doubt again, and I'm realizing that it's because I just don't give myself enough credit for the stuff that I am actually doing well. Because all of our lives, when like throughout school, throughout college, you have to do better grades, more extracurriculars, you have to get into the best job, and eventually you realize that you have to work hard, but you also have to balance that out with like pacing yourself properly. Otherwise, you will burn out. You will be, or I will burn out. I don't want to speak for the general audience. So one solution to addressing these patterns is, of course, working with someone like a counselor or a life coach. But do you have any suggestions for our audience on how they could work on it themselves if it's a pattern that's safe enough to work on by yourself?
Yeah, so you can, so again, see, your thoughts create feelings create situations and stuff like that, right? So, I mean, it all starts with your thought. So for you, like I was just listening to you and I was like, it's unbelievable to think that, you will have self-doubt. I was thinking that, So,
why?
kind of some feelings are coming up. Like I said, how can she have self-doubt? Like, I mean, so
yeah, no, it's the same with you. Like I can't imagine you angry, at all, or like fighting on a WhatsApp group. At all.
Because I want society to be a particular way, right? I want kindness and I want, but it's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to. And I want quick changes all the time. I want, yeah, why can't people understand this and all? So that restlessness, which I'm now kind of working on with meditation, with self-hypnosis, and also I'm doing that. But so this is all. So again, one doesn't need to be apologetic about these things, because now I say, "Arey, ye to life coach hai, isko bhi anger hota hai." Everything is okay. Just because I get angry does not mean I'm not brilliant working with people.
Right? Yeah.
So in fact, on the contrary, sometimes I with some of my clients, I like scold them when they're not listening. They're just ranting. I said, what do you want? Do you want this? Do you want a solution, or do you want to keep talking about your problem? Exactly. So that anger works. It works.
My therapist does that too. She just like shouts at me not all the time, but sometimes she's very stern with me. I'm like, okay.
Right now, stop your story right now. Like I said, tell people sometimes, and they're like, what? Aren't you supposed to be more compassionate? I said, who told you compassion is all about just smiling and listening to your story? Sometimes compassion is to stop you and say, please stop and listen to what you're saying. If you're in a bad relationship, somebody's abusing you and you're still there in it and you're justifying it, then I have to shout at you and say, please don't do this to yourself. So I'm just saying that it's okay to have anger. But again, if that anger is kind of consuming me, and then I'm getting all worked up, and I'm getting some thing in my stomach, and I'm getting something in my solar plexus, and I'm getting acidity, and then then it's not good, no? So then I have to work on it. Okay, so one thing what we can do, like say for like a self-doubt thing, I don't think anybody should self-doubt, especially you. So I'm going to call you later.
Yes, okay.
But exercise, you can get up in the morning. And I love affirmations. I make a lot of affirmations. I love that. Even when I do meditation, I always start, saying some affirmations. I really enjoy that. So you can just stand in front of the mirror, look at yourself into the eyes, and say that I love myself, I accept myself, and just make your own affirmations. You don't need, I'm just making this up right now. And just look at yourself, look into your eyes and say, I love myself. And I accept myself. I appreciate myself. And I'm willing to work on myself. So again, it's not, don't get arrogant. I love myself now. You're not like, that Kareena Kapoor in Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. You're gonna be like, kind of, in a positive confidence zone. At the same time, you say, yeah, okay, cool. This is who I am, and I'm willing to change when I want to change.
Definitely. And I think that ties back to what you said about thoughts. Thoughts create feelings, feelings create actions. So even if you don't, even if one doesn't believe it in the beginning, just slowly telling yourself, and I've started doing this too this past week, intentionally recognizing, you are doing a good job, you are working hard, it's okay to make mistakes and you are learning from them. And because not having that self-compassion can be so dangerous.
Okay with not doing a good job also. When the whole point is what we resist persists.
Exactly.
Sometimes you have to be okay. ठीक है यार, गलती हो गई भाई. It's okay. I still love myself.
Right.
हो गई गलती यार. So this is again, society doesn't allow us to do that, and we ourselves don't allow ourselves to do that.
Absolutely.
When we okay to make a mistake,
Absolutely.
So our society is very complex, and they sometimes will say they'll club the family together, they'll club the community together. Just like tell them, okay, you guys don't know anything, just quiet. With society they'll club you. Arey tum to bilkul mummy jaisi ho, waisi. Relax. Talk to me and tell me one-on-one. People don't know how to do one-on-ones here. They'll involve the family, they'll involve the relatives, they'll involve the friends. I was like, okay, talk to me one-on-one. What are you saying? Then you can talk. Otherwise, you're busy defending your parents sometimes, you're busy defending your auntie sometimes, you're busy defending your friends sometimes, it's a very complex, it's a very Bharata, complicated model, So
absolutely. Yeah. So I think sometimes just being able to, whether you do that with a life coach or with a therapist, working with a life coach or a therapist is different, I think, because they're trained to help you identify the way that you're thinking and how that might not be productive and how you can change your habits. But I think above and beyond that, just having someone that you can have a one-on-one conversation with, where you trust them and you can open yourself up and, not be ashamed of the fact that today I just feel tired or I just feel ashamed of myself.
Yeah. Who doesn't shame you for something that you want to change, or for anything
Absolutely.
for that matter?
Or for anything for that matter. Why would you do that to anyone? The way that, I think of myself, like if my sister was in my position, if she was in her first job, and my sister is 14 years old. So, we have an 8-9 year difference. So we're friends, but I'm also like her half mother. And she's always complaining, I have two mothers, my actual mother and my older sister. But I think to myself, like if my sister was having intense self-doubt, what would I tell her? I would be kind to her. I would tell her, you're doing a great job. And even if you, as you said, even if you don't do a good job, it's okay, because we're all only human. So definitely having that one-on-one is really, really important. You spoke about meditation earlier. How does meditation factor into dealing with negative emotions in these times?
Again, first it gives you a break from that emotion. See, for example, if now you're angry, I'm angry. Forget, because I kept on saying I'm angry. I'm really angry. I'm like, and then I just close my eyes and I go like, should we do it?
Yeah, why not?
So everyone watching this now and watch it, whoever is going to watch it later, you can do it. We'll do it for 2-3 minutes. And so just gently close your eyes. And whatever negative emotion you're feeling right now, just gently bring it to your attention. So if it's a fear or it's sadness or it's anger, just bring it to your attention. And now feel it in your body. Where exactly do you feel it? See, for example, if I'm saying, okay, I'm a little angry. So where exactly do I feel it? Is it my heart or my solar plexus or stomach or wherever? Just maybe bring an incident into the scene and just see where exactly in the body are you feeling whatever you're feeling, and gently place your hand on that particular part of the body. And now breathe into that part. And breathe out that emotion. Breathe in again. And release that emotion. You can do it through the nose also when you're breathing out, or through the mouth. You can just go. Or you can also do a sigh or a sound when you're releasing this emotion. You can just go like. Just 2, 3, 4 times this emotion that you are wanting to release from your body. Release it. And now focus gently on your breath, completely on your breath. Just breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the nose. And just keep a soft focus on this breathing. Watch your breath while it's going in and going out. Feel yourself breathe in to the top of your head. Breathe out. Breathe into the shoulders. Breathe out and relax your shoulders. Breathe into your stomach. Breathe out. And let's do a couple of breaths into your legs. And as you breathe out, relax your legs completely, your calves, your feet, your thighs. Do it a couple of times. And now you can gently rub your palms with each other, place them on your eyes. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and remove your palms from your face.
You know, every week, because of our segment, this, at least it ensures that I meditate, you know, otherwise sometimes I forget, sometimes I'm too lazy.
This
And
is
it's
not
incredibly calming. Thank you so much.
You can't do 3 minutes of meditation. You got to do more.
I know. No, I know it. I know I have to do it every day. But it's one of those things where you know what you should do, but you don't do it.
Yeah, basically, so we are giving a break from that emotion. We're also releasing it from our body because the emotion is pretty much there. So we release it from our body. This is an optional activity. Even if you focus just on your breath, and even this thing of breathing into various parts of the body, is very relaxing. But even if someone wants to keep it very basic and just focus on breathing in and breathing out through the nose, what happens basically is that you slowly calm down. The emotion kind of is not relevant anymore. And then when you're outside, you're like looking at the whole situation a little differently. Then you can kind of figure out who you want to talk to, because then you're not in that heat of the emotion kind of thing, you know. Like I'm so pissed. So yes, we will get overwhelmed in these times, but at times, I guess, and we need to first calm ourselves down. If we can't, we can talk. I mean, there's no like set kind of model, but this is a good thing to do on a daily basis. Our body needs to relax. Our mind needs to relax. We are not doing enough things, I feel, to relax the body and the mind.
Definitely, especially because we're on screens all the time for work or for socializing. But what else do you think is useful for dealing with negative emotions? Like you said, sometimes, you know, there's a different approach to these things. I find that writing really helps me. If I just write profusely for 2 or 3 pages, that's quite calming.
So I did this writing for I think 2 months, where I used to every morning get up and write whatever came to my mind. It was part of a book that we were doing on shadow work. So we were asked to write every day, and I think that changed a lot of things for me. So I think there are so many things one can do, and we just have to try them out. Like people should kind of again be on the exploration zone. Try out whatever works for you, because we are all different, right? So something may work for someone, something may not. Meditation, I think by far, I haven't seen anybody who has told me it doesn't work for them. Yeah, people can say, yeah, we are restless and we can't do it. So all the more reason to do it. you know.
Definitely.
I'm a very kind of restless person. Now I'm a little less, but so if I can do it, anyone can do it. And once you start doing it, your restlessness also kind of goes, that's the thing.
Definitely. So, Sharad, just to leave our audience with a few takeaways, what is your current strategy for navigating negative emotions? Right now, is it primarily meditation, or are you still writing every morning? What are you doing? Tell us.
I'm meditating. Definitely, I've learned self-hypnosis, so I'm just doing that instead of meditation. But so it's like kind of similar. I won't say similar, but it's a process for the mind. But yeah, people can meditate every day. The second thing that I'm doing right now is creating. So even if I'm creating a reel, which may be kind of brainless or whatever for some people, but I don't care because it's fun. I'm doing something. I'm creating something. I'm writing some scripts for my YouTube channel now, which could be motivational, but I'm trying to do it in a little fun way, like a story or something. So when I'm doing creative work is when my mind may not go into a negative direction, because I can either just keep fanning my negative emotion, or I can say that, can I use a bit of this and create a change in society or in my life, and then focus my time on things that I really want to do. So not to get stuck in that emotion. It's okay to have a negative emotion, but not to get stuck in it.
Exactly. I think that's such a beautiful note to end on. So for everyone watching, we hope you enjoyed Sharad and I talking about meditation and negative emotions. We thought this was an important topic to discuss. And whatever you're dealing with, these are unprecedented times. There is so much grief and devastation and loss. And I hope that, and this is, me reminding myself too, I hope that we can be kind to ourselves. I hope that we can remember to rest and remember to meditate, to write, to paint, to be creative, whatever works for us. And hopefully make steps of progress in our pursuit of happiness. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. The Happiness Collective does similar programming like this every week. You can keep up with our events with the link in the YouTube description. And you can also check Sharad's video out with the link in the description. And we hope that you join us again next week, same time, Sunday, Musings and Meditations, featuring Sharad Jagtiani in conversation with myself, Garima. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. Bye-bye.